all of you watching and tuning in, this card is for you. Okay, so I'm going to pull a card. So let me just shuffle these. So this is just a card for the group. I've been interacting with a lot of you guys via message, and a lot of people just asking questions and reaching out. The card I pulled says, be gentle with yourself. And the back says, take your foot off the gas and don't push yourself so hard. If you need to rest, then take a break. The world won't fall apart if you nap. Renew, dear one. You are a treasure. Be gentle with yourself. And what a perfect card. I was actually with a friend today earlier, and I was having a conversation with someone the other night about this particular topic of really just being gentle with yourself, and how I was in this group. I was talking in this group, and we were talking about how we're so quick to kind of like beat ourselves up, right? So if we're in a circumstance and we are like worried what other people are going to think, we will be like, oh my gosh, like we might beat ourselves up, having like the self-judgment, or if we make a mistake, we might beat ourselves up. And I was talking to this woman this morning about this, and she was saying she was talking to like a therapist friend of hers, and she was like in this kind of negative loop, and her therapist friend was like, if you were like talking to your good friend right now, like what would you tell them? And so she like had all this really beautiful stuff that she would share and say, and she's like, okay, well then why wouldn't you say the same thing to yourself? And it's so true. It's just like that beautiful reminder of that sometimes we're so hard on ourselves. We're hard on ourselves. And the advice that we would maybe give a loved one or a good friend, we don't give ourselves, and we beat ourselves up. And so this is just a perfect, beautiful card. Just be gentle with yourself, and be gentle with yourself where you're at on your journey and through your process as well. I mean, I think that's another thing. And I was talking about this earlier on my public Facebook page about these compare thoughts, not like comparing yourself or your journey to anyone else's, and how we oftentimes will compare where we're at or our successes or our relationships or whatever to other people. And when you compare yourself, you really lower your standards. And so that's kind of another thing that goes along, with this card about being gentle with yourself. Like, don't compare yourself to where anyone else is at. We all have our own experiences and journeys, and we're all put on this path to experience whatever it is that we're experiencing. And so things will continue to show up as you guys until you learn your lesson, right? So if you're experiencing something and the same thing starts showing up over and over and over, there's probably a lesson for you to learn in that. And that's happened to me many of times, and I've had lots of mentors say to me, you haven't learned your lesson yet, so it's going to keep showing up. And so when adversity or struggles show up, there's obviously something for you to learn there. And again, being gentle with yourself in the process, like the card says, is so true, because it's really easy to beat yourself up. And I find myself in that, just even in doing the judgment detox, feeling guilty or feeling bad when I notice myself having a judgment thought about somebody else, and then beating myself up for that too, and just recognizing like we're human, and sometimes we're going to have judgment thoughts, and the goal is to not have them. The goal is to not be perfect. The goal is to recognize when you're in and out of alignment with yourself, so that you can choose something differently. And so it's funny, one of my girlfriends, sometimes we'll text each other and we'll be like, I'm judging right now. And even that is that simple awareness of like, okay, I'm recognizing what I'm doing right now, and I need to shift my thinking. Or saying, okay, what is the fact about this? The other thing that I've been doing lately, oh my goodness, this has been so hard, you guys. So when I catch myself in a judgment thought, I will challenge myself to find something I like about what I'm judging. So if I'm judging a person and I find myself in a negative loop about that person, I will challenge myself to find something positive about that person, which can be really difficult. But what that does is it then shifts our energetic vibration. And this has been really hard. Or I say, okay, what I'm judging in them is a disowned shadow part of myself. So that's the other piece. Like, what is it about me right now that, or what is it in that person that's reminding me of a part of myself that maybe I have let go of, or I wanted to let go of, or reminds me of an old part of myself, or an old wounding, or an old hurt, or an old trauma. Because oftentimes when we're judging something, we're just judging a disowned part of ourselves. And that's really hard. And that will get you to shift your perception really, really quick. And so And so I've been working on this. It's definitely not been easy. I've definitely struggled. I haven't been 100% successful, but the awareness is the key. And so yeah, I just wanted to pull a card for you guys as we kind of just chatted. I wanted to be available if anyone has any questions, and you guys can ask me anything. So thank you guys so much for being a part of this, and we are literally going to go out there and change the world together, because that's what this is all about. So I love you. You have filled me with so much gratitude and so much joy, and so let's do this thing. Let's elevate together, right? So I love you. Have a beautiful night, and reach out if you need anything, and I will see you guys soon.